Hello, and welcome to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission. I'm your host, Tina Lapp, Head of Industry Relations and Career Excellence for Colibri Real Estate. I've been in real estate education for over 30 years, helping individuals enter and thrive in their real estate careers.
Welcome to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission, where we dive into real stories, big wins, and early lessons learned from highly successful rookie real estate agents and brokers. This is the series where we explore how real estate transforms lives, one home at a time, by sitting down each week with a new agent or broker who has found incredible success in their first year. Your hosts are instructors and leaders at Colibri Real Estate School, one of the largest real estate educators in the nation, where we focus on helping people like you get started or find continued success in their careers.
This episode with Angela Vega is sure to be inspiring. Angela ran a family business, and amidst several significant life changes, she started her real estate career. Driven by her faith and by her family, she closed 16 transactions in her very first year. Listen to her story and hear just how she did it. We are here today with Angela Vega. Angela, will you take a moment to introduce yourself, where you live, and what company you're with?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Angela Vega. I am a realtor here in the Phoenix and Scottsdale area, and I'm with my home group brokerage.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here with us today. I'm excited to jump in and explore sort of how you got started in real estate, what your first year looked like, where you found success, talk about some of your challenges. But let's start at the beginning of the real estate journey. What were you doing before you got into real estate?
Okay, so before I started real estate, I was operating a family-owned business. We provided residential services for people with developmental disabilities here in the Valley. And so we had to buy and sell a lot of real estate. So that's kind of how it first started.
Wow, that's incredible work. And so talk a little bit more about how that connected you to real estate and how you decided to make the leap.
Yeah, so as we were continuing to grow that family business, we began to acquire more properties. And so I would work with a real estate agent here in the Valley. And the more I spent time doing that, I realized that it wasn't just part of like a task. I, really enjoyed it. And one of the parts was when I realized I was scrolling Zillow all the time, looking at property values and all of that, instead of just like being on social media. And I was like, there's something there. Yeah.
Yes, I love it. So that obviously influenced your decision. And so at what point did you make the leap? Like, how'd you decide to start taking classes, pursue your license? Was there a specific moment like, all right, it's finally time?
Yeah. So I kind of had a big moment. My mom passed away unexpectedly.
Oh,
And so when that happened, it just really gave me clarity on life, on, how precious our time is. And
yeah.
I just remember thinking, I want to live a life that would make her proud. I want to live a life that I'm so proud of. I want to chase my dreams. And I had been thinking about it and talking about, it for a while about the family business. And they're like, well, who's going to run the business? You're a huge part of it. And I just said, we can hire someone, we can. But once my mom passed, I just thought like, this time is not promised. And so we really just need to go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. And I'm sorry for your loss. And I'm sure she is looking at you now, very, very proud of you. So here
Thanks.
you are, you decide you're going to make the leap, and
Yeah.
like a lot's going on in your life at the time. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So walk us through like the process of getting your license. You have this family business, your mother's
Yeah.
passed away. Like how'd you do it? Did you take classes online, in person? Like walk us through.
Yeah. So during that time my mom passed, I was also going through a divorce because that kind of was a lot of pressure on the family.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
going through a divorce, it was a family business of my ex's. So essentially that was no longer, part of my responsibility. And so I just said, I'm going to fully chase my dreams. And so I signed up for a real estate school and I just was fully present. It was pretty much, you know, everything I had been wanting to do for a while. So
Yeah. So you were all in. You were
I was
all
fun.
in, going
Mhm.
through an awful lot of change in life.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you do classes online, in person? How'd you do them?
Yeah, so I went, in person. Thankfully, I didn't have any other thing going on at the time.
Yeah.
I just signed up. It was a 2-week course. I think it was like 2.5 weeks,
Yeah.
and, I'm more of an in-person kinda learner, so I said, I'm gonna just sign up, I'm gonna commit to
Yeah.
it," and I just signed up and took the courses. I went to the Arizona School of Real Estate and Business, which
Yep.
they are fantastic, so I really enjoyed
Thank
that.
you.
Mhm.
That's wonderful. Yes, I love the Arizona school. So you went through classes. You were sort of transitioning so many things going on in your life. What was the hardest part of getting through the classes?
It's definitely a commitment. It's intense. You're full days, Monday through Friday, 8 to I think it's 5:30.
Yeah.
You would go to school all day and then you come back and then you're pretty much studying for all night and then you start over the next day. Um, to be honest, that just occupied my time. And when I dive into something, I'm so committed. And so that part
Yeah.
wasn't the hard part. It was just really staying focused, even through the grief, right? I was going through that divorce,
Yeah.
grieving my mom. And so just staying disciplined, even through the grief, was the hardest part for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
I bet. I mean, that would be hard for anyone, let alone going in and going through the classes. You were in person, so you got to meet some other people who were going through it with you, right? Do you keep in touch with anyone?
Yeah, so I still follow some of the other agents and you could tell right away who was really motivated. I made a friend with one other agent there and she also did really well, but we would just study and you would see us people would go on breaks and we'd still be there just taking notes and so um sometimes when people really are passionate, you
Yeah.
can tell. So, yeah.
Y Yeah, and one of the advantages for sure of doing in-person courses is being able to find people and make those connections. I love that, and you still keep in touch with some. So you said it was pretty intense. You got through maybe in a few weeks, and then how long from the time you started to the time you, like, went and tested and actually got your license?
It was really fast. I mean, maybe 3 weeks total.
Wow.
I took the course, and then I took the school test, and there was people in there taking and retaking and retaking, and I just you know, one thing that I am big on is mindset, and so I feel that what we believe and, we can achieve, and so there were so many people at the time telling me, "Why would you go into real estate? The market is terrible." You know, go get another great career, like that's something that's stable. But I just said, I'm not going to accept those stories. Like there's an abundance for everybody. And so if
Yeah.
you work hard at anything, you can do well. And so that was really the mindset that I was in at the time. So yeah, I finished it, took the test one time for school, passed it, took the state test. And I just remember crying, walking out of there, like just so
Yay.
joyous, so excited for the future. And I don't know, excited. Mhm.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And, I hear people say, like, markets will change, right? You're not getting in for today's market, you're getting in for years to come. The market's going to go up and down, but excellence prevails in any market. And I think you're a good example of that. So let's start talking about that a little
Mhm.
bit more. So, what were your expectations going into your first year?
Well, honestly, I knew from the very beginning that I was gonna be a top agent. I was telling everybody, I had
Yeah.
already set that mindset. I wasn't gonna settle for just being like some, rookie agent who did like 1 or 2 deals a year. That's not
Yeah.
how I operate in life. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm really passionate and that when I'm in, I'm all in, and I definitely chase my dreams, and so, yeah, from the very beginning, I was already in that mindset.
Good for you. Like, if you can see it, it can happen, right? So that is amazing. And you did it. So you did it. How long after you got your license initially did you close your first transaction?
Yeah. So initially, I got my license, and then I was working with a commercial agent, Kelvin, which was a close friend. And he just said, Angela, if you're getting into real estate, let me set up some meetings with some of the top teams. So that way, you can find the right one. He's like, I
Mhm.
know how you work. You'll be great. Let me just connect you. So I went to different like teams and their meetings and spent a few weeks just really thinking about it. So once I found that right team, I just went all in, and they were definitely had high expectations, but they offered a really lot to their agents. So tons of just mentoring, coaching, and um, so yeah, essentially they had mentioned like, okay, when you get on this team, you're going to have to close your first transaction within the first 30 days after your initial like 2-week training. So if you didn't make it, you were out.
Wow, that's intimidating. Did you do it? Did you make it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course I did.
Yeah, love it.
Mhm. Yeah. So,
That's
they
great.
have you calling out of these, like, they call it the pond, right? There's thousands of just random phone numbers. And so you're just calling and calling and calling and getting hung up on, people that are not really necessarily even interested, but it just taught us how to be able to take rejection
Yeah.
and to, not get discouraged. And so I remember I'm very much into fitness. And so I remember feeling like I hadn't worked out in weeks. And I just said, you know what? Forget this. The next person that I call, like, I'm selling a house. And sure enough, like a few calls later, I got a client, and yeah, we were able to go under contract. But you kind of get to a point where you're fed up, and you're like, I need to make something happen.
Yeah. Well, it
Mhm.
sounds like that helped to drive you to make something happen and fueled your fire a little bit, which is very cool. Very cool. And so are you with the same company? Do you stay with the same company that you started with? Are you still there?
Yeah, no. So I started on a team that
Mhm.
was really resourceful. I mean, they teach you so much, and I
Yeah.
excelled pretty quickly on that team. The nice thing about my business was because I had helped run other businesses, I had tons of personal spirit, right? There are so many
Yeah.
people that knew me, that trusted me. And so a lot of my clients came from referrals, past people that I worked with, or their family members. Um, so after about 6 to 8 months, I wasn't taking any leads from the team or whatever. And I just said, it's very expensive to be on a team, essentially.
Yeah.
So um, I ended up leaving the team and just going independent after that.
Yeah. Okay. And
Mhm.
so, and people always ask that question, right? Like a
Mhm.
lot of our listeners are thinking about starting a career in real estate. And what if I don't end up with the right company? And can I make a move? And obviously you can. And different companies, it sounds like where you started
Mhm.
played a good role for where you started and it was time to make a move. Um, how did you establish credibility and market yourself at the beginning? Like you're a new licensee. Did it matter that much?
You know, I already had a position prior to real estate where I had a
Yeah.
lot of responsibility. People,
Yeah.
relied on me, and so I had to show up in a specific way. And so
Right.
when I went into real estate, honestly, you do learn so much more being on a team, and just the amount of mentorship, the role playing, all of that stuff was super valuable. So when I would meet with clients, we were prepared. I mean, most of the clients would say, "Oh, you must be in real estate for years, or you must have been in." And I'm like,
Yeah. Just you
but
don't have to respond. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just definitely gives you the confidence. So I do encourage any new agents who, want that support, to make that investment, because it is worth it, and you do want to be able to show up and do, an excellent job. So why not start with people who are the best of the best and who you can learn from?
Yeah. So in your first year, you had a super successful first year, right? And share a little bit about that and what you did where you sort of found your groove and where you were like, yes, I got it. What were you doing to get there?
Well, again, being on that team, there was a lot of pressure. Every morning we met, and they would
Yeah.
put everyone's name on the board, and they would go over numbers, and they would say, and there was, I mean, very productive agents who had been in the business for a long time. They were high producers. And so, they would say, Jack, Jill, and Kate, they all have millions of dollars in escrow. And then they would get to your name. And if you didn't have your name on the board and things pending, you felt, terrible, right? And
Yeah.
so a lot of that was just being in an environment that were high producers. And so there was just a lot of that. And I honestly am very competitive, so I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Yeah.
it. It gave me that push. And so also too, just having again all my family, my friends, past employees, I had a lot of people that I could, as soon as they knew I was in real estate, they were like, "Oh, here's my cousin or my sister," and so my phone just started ringing. And we also did a lot of open houses, so that helped us meet a lot of new clients, and that was also really helpful.
Okay. Talk a little bit more about the open houses because some people say, no, open houses, I tried them, don't work for me. And others are like, oh my gosh, they're a gold mine. Like, I love it. How'd you make the
Mhm.
most of open houses and how'd you really connect with folks and like, how'd you utilize them?
Mhm. So for open houses, one thing we had like a strategy behind it. We didn't just show up, we paired up essentially. And we
Okay.
knew that we wanted to for sure have at least 1 to 2 new contacts before we left. Otherwise, we just wasted our weekend.
Yeah.
We would door knock the whole neighborhood prior to even starting. We'd invite the neighbors. We would research the neighborhood and make sure, because 9 times out of 10, people that walk into an open house, they don't necessarily love that house. They might love the neighborhood, but they might want something a little bigger or a little smaller. And so you just got to be able to provide value to people. So if you,
Mhm.
just can offer them, like, I know you don't necessarily love this house. You said you were looking for something bigger. I have 3 other properties in the same area that I can show you. And so that's kind of how you can connect more with people because you got to provide value, right?
You gotta provide value and
Right.
be responsive. I'm sure talk
Yep.
a little bit about that too. Like what's your personal goal for your responsiveness, how you manage those relationships? Talk about that a little.
Mhm. So essentially, I had a lot of free time, right? I was single at the time. And so all my time and energy was going to my clients, which I adore because they're people that I like and I know
Yeah.
and are also I'm just meeting. And so I want to help people. I want to make a difference. I want to do a really great job. So I was always available. I
Yeah.
always picked up my phone. I always made sure to make time. I mean, I was working probably 7 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day. I was
Yeah.
very busy. Hmm.
And enjoying it, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah. I loved every minute of it. I still love it.
Yeah.
Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't really feel like work. I mean, it is work, but it's just really fulfilling. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. So talk about some of your marketing. Like what'd you
mhm.
do? Did you use social media? Did you do traditional mail? Was it mostly networking? Like talk about how'd you market yourself?
Honestly, I've only had to pay for marketing at one point. I tried it. A lot of my marketing, again, goes back to the people that I knew, the
Yeah.
relationships that I had cultivated through life. And I mean, I'm 43. So, over the years, I've
Yeah.
just met so many people. And in real estate, I feel like, I'm a walking billboard for real estate. Everywhere I go, I talk real estate everywhere
Awesome.
I'm at. I mean, I'm something I'm passionate about. So even if I'm at the grocery store, I'm chatting up with the ladies at the bakery and we're talking about, here and there. And then they want to know what I'm doing. And I'm like, oh, I'm just heading to some showings. Oh, you do real estate? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, my son is looking for a real estate agent. Or, if you
Beautiful.
can connect with people, I mean,
Yeah.
essentially, you don't necessarily have to pay for marketing. Of course,
Mhm.
marketing, I pay for my listings, but as far as getting new clients, a
Yeah.
lot of that is just you kind of embody that.
Yeah.
You know?
So outside of going to the grocery store and the
Mhm.
bakery,
The
you get me
gym,
hungry
like all
here,
those,
the
yeah.
gym, right?
Mhm.
Like, are there other things you're involved with in your community that help connect you with people?
Mhm. So I'm Christian. I lead a women's group. I
Yeah.
volunteer. We do a lot of volunteering. So we do a lot of activities. I try and serve the community, any way I can.
Yeah.
Just because growing up, we didn't have a lot. So,
Yeah.
to me, it's just a personal goal to always give back. So But
Yeah.
we enjoy volunteering. We get together. So I get to meet a lot of families and their kids and their husbands. And I host a lot of events. So those are also ways that I get to connect with people.
Yeah. And tell me about some of the events that you've hosted.
Mhm. So a lot of the events are probably usually like Christian based things,
Yeah.
like Bible studies
Hmm.
or, baby showers, just things that draw people together. Because when
Yeah.
you draw community together, that's how you make those relationships. I also host things for clients, so like client events, past client events, things
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, just ways to connect and be present with even past clients.
Yeah. And you're doing so many things with that because you're connecting with the community, you're connecting people, you're giving back, and you're building your network too, which in real estate is an important thing. And maybe it's not the driver, but it's one of the positive outcomes for sure. Like it's all a balance. And so I love you
Mhm.
sharing a little bit about how you do that.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
I think
I think
I
that's
think if you're
fabulous.
just authentic and do what you love,
Yeah.
uh, real estate will just roll into it. The more you just enjoy life and do things that align with your core values, you know, you feel good about it. You enjoy
Yeah.
it. You love serving, and then it just kind of comes back to you, and so it just all feels really good.
It feels really good. Yeah, it's good to hear. It's refreshing to hear, quite frankly, Angela. Um, that's great. So in your first year,
Mhm.
what were some of the biggest challenges for you?
Biggest thing was just trying to find balance. I was working really long days, 7 days a
Yeah,
week. Um, yeah, kind of a little exhausted. I'm very much into health and wellness. So just trying to make sure that I made time for that, time for rest,
yeah,
and time for a family. I have a daughter. So just making sure that I'm spending time with family.
yeah. And
Mhm.
did I hear maybe your daughter got into real estate as well?
Yeah, she did. She just got her
Yeah. Okay.
license last year. So I've been super excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been working together a little bit slowly and she's getting her feet wet. So um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's exciting.
Super, super fun, super
Mhm.
fun. You talked to I hear so many times, like, when you love real estate and you're doing it 7 days a week because you love it, like, it's part of your life, fabulous. For some people, that can be scary. Now that you've been in there for a couple of years and you're in real
Mhm.
estate, do you ever set time for you to go to the gym, to go get a cup of coffee? Like, for you, you're still doing real estate when you're doing it. Like, how do you balance, like, do you ever have downtime?
Oh, now it's so much better. I mean, the first
Yeah,
year you're
okay.
learning everything and you're just so consumed trying to build a business and figure everything
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
You have a million questions. So just even when you're doing everything first times, it takes you so much longer to write a purchase contract or just a new type of deal. You just don't really know how to do it. And
yeah.
so once you've got that experience under your belt, you can get things done so much faster, so much more
Mhm,
efficiently. And so
mhm.
that has really helped. Now my life looks very different. I definitely have a lot of time where I can travel now. I've obviously had success. So I'm back into a balance of, making sure I have more of a schedule. So every morning I wake up early and before my phone even starts ringing, I'm out the door, headed to the gym, and I get my workout in every morning. So that really helps too with creating a schedule and just making
Mhm.
time and just knowing like, there's always going to be work. I mean,
Yeah,
there'll always be things to do, but just prioritizing what's most important and urgent and needs to get done now. And then that helps you just balance. And then also part of it is I have a TC that I've hired now, so she helps with a lot of like the paperwork and the emails. So that definitely helps free up some time. And now I can be more present with my client, doing the most important things.
yeah, that's wonderful, and having a transaction coordinator, like, awesome, congratulations. So how long were you in the business before you brought on a transaction coordinator to help you out?
Well, initially the team offered one.
Okay.
Okay. But then once I left the team, My broker, they're awesome. My home group, they said, why don't you start doing the TC work on your own so you learn the full aspect, and
Yeah.
then you can hire one, when you got it all down. And so I took
There you
their
go.
advice. So
Yeah.
I did it for, maybe about a year, and then I then brought on the TC, and she's amazing. I mean, it's a partnership, and
Yeah.
who you partner with in real estate is really important.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. In life
Mhm.
too, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So going back to your first year, a lot of folks thinking about getting into real estate, they have this fear of, oh my gosh, like what if I'm in a transaction or somebody asks for something and I don't know the answer? I'm sure you ran into some of that. What'd you do? What'd you do? Do you have a network? You run a team, so it sounds
Yes.
like it, but
Mhm.
advice do you have? What do you do?
I just tell agents, don't worry about it. There's so much support. I mean, I called my broker line constantly. My daughter laughs at me because I would call them all the time, but I love, find
Yeah.
a broker that is willing to be there and support you. I mean, they
Yeah.
happily pick up the phone, and if they don't, they'll call you right back. So just having the right support from your brokerage, and then also to your partners. So I have a partner lender that, I have a few, right? Options. And so I had so many questions initially, and I could call them and spend 20 minutes on the phone. And those lenders that really care about you and the partnership, they'll explain any and everything, especially if they're passionate about it. Your
Yeah.
escrow officer, if you have questions, you can always reach out. So there's tons of support. Just finding those partners is key.
Yeah. Good
Mhm.
good advice and good for folks to hear, like, that support is there.
Yeah.
Talking to people is critical, right? Like, this is a business, you have to be able to communicate with folks.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think that's great. Is there a particular client experience that stands out to you?
Oh, there's so many.
So many, I'm
So
sure.
many. I adore my clients. They all have a story. They all have a story, and I just get to be a small part of it, and so it's super rewarding. Some of the couple clients that I felt I really made a difference. I had a family who was living in a hotel, and they were even just trying to rent a place, and no one would give them an opportunity. And
Oh,
it took a lot of work because they didn't have money saved and things like that. But I was able to actually help them purchase a property. And so to this day, she still texts me like, Angela, I love you and I thank you, and they're so happy. And so
yeah.
um, things like that just feel really good. I have another older lady who she bought her first home in her 70s. And it was always her dream. She said, Angela, I want to do this. Please help me. This has always been my dream. And I just want to do it. And it was interesting because at that age, they're not tech savvy. And now we do everything
Yeah.
electronically. So that one was a lot of hand holding, a lot of printing. I mean, I had to drive her to title and just sit down and like explain everything. But I adore her spirit. I mean, she just has so much energy and just love. And she still calls me all the time. I mean, she knows that if she needs anything, she calls me. And usually it's like a random, I need a doctor's appointment, but I can't book it online. I'm like, I got it. Like, what do you need? And she just knows I'll be there. But I adore her.
I love it. It sounds like you've not only helped them with real estate, but now you've become their friend.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
receive so much from people, that feeling,
Yeah.
just that friendship, you know, it feels good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
It should feel good. I think they think of you and that makes them feel good. And it sounds like you've spent a lot of time helping maybe some folks who didn't think they could realize home ownership, and you've helped them get there, maybe underserved communities or individuals who just, they just didn't know where else to turn,
Mhm.
and now they're homeowners.
Yeah. I tell
Yeah.
people sometimes, there's a lot of fear around it. I think people just in general think there's just no way I could buy a home or qualify. I partner with a couple of really great lenders, and so they're able to do incredible things. I mean, I don't take any credit for that. They're the ones that
Yeah.
get them qualified, but they're really good at what they do, and together we can get it done. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, you're a connector and certainly a catalyst to that for sure. Um, so what's next for you? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Anything
Yeah.
going to change?
So I'm grooming my daughter right now. I'm just hoping to expand on the business. I've definitely picked up a lot more luxury properties and listings. And so just growing, learning continually. I love going to conferences and events and just continuing to learn and grow daily. That way I could just better serve my clients. And so
Yeah.
just continuing to grow the business, streamline things, create more systems, and that way I have more time to be where I need to be when I need to be there, and then also spend time with my daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I hope that for you. I have no doubt you're going to get there. So everyone either makes mistakes or finds themselves in these like strange uh, places where they thought, oh my gosh, I never thought I'd do this as a real estate agent. Do you have any stories like that of something that you've done or that is surprising that either makes you laugh or surprise you in your first few years in real estate?
Uh, you know, personally, I think I always have these grand ideas or, expectations or hopes or dreams. So,
Yeah.
I don't think anything surprises me. Sometimes people are surprised by me, but I don't think it's surprising. I think that there's just so much abundance and God blesses us on a whole other level if we show up, and so I'm never really surprised. I'm just more grateful. There's things
Yeah.
that happen and I just sit back and I'm just sitting there in gratitude, like this is life and it's so good, and everything is going so well, and you feel just so much grateful and gratitude. Mhm.
Yeah. That's your um, perspective on that. It's just beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
Um, Angela, we're going to jump into our lightning round. Just a few last questions, just for
Mhm.
fun, right? Real
Yeah.
estate related or otherwise. They don't have to be real estate. 60 seconds or less. Just give us your quick thoughts on a few things. One is there a book or a podcast that you've read or listened to that you would recommend for the audience and why?
I really listen to a lot of podcasts from Jay Shetty. He also talks a lot about mindset, gratitude, and so I feel like that's where it all starts. So if you guys haven't had a chance, check him out. He's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, and mindset makes all the difference. That's
Mhm.
that's a great one. Um, if we could have a time if you could have a time machine, I guess I'd love to have a time machine. If you could have a time machine, go back to the day you started this journey, what would you do differently or what advice would you give yourself?
I would just say, you know, don't be afraid to take risk. Just put yourself out there. Start now. Everything is going to turn out great. Just trust in the process and enjoy the journey.
Yeah, trust in
Mm,
the process. I like that. If you could have dinner with one person,
mm,
dead or alive,
mm.
who would it be and why?
Well, it's my mom.
Yeah,
I just want to,
I figured.
yeah, I just want to say, hey, mom, can you believe all this? And she'd probably
Yeah,
just smile, which she always did. And she was always so proud of me. So I just think it would be cool to,
yeah.
yeah.
What
Mm.
we'd give for one more dinner. Tell us what you did for work yesterday.
Oh, yesterday was busy.
Yeah.
We
Cool.
have Barrett Jackson in town this past weekend. And so we had a ton, I have some luxury listings. We had a ton of people come through. I have a buyer that flew in. So we were out looking all weekend. And so we were negotiating a deal yesterday on that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a
Yeah.
good day. It's a good day in real estate. I love to hear it. And Angela, where can our listeners or viewers connect with you or follow you or find you and follow your journey?
Yeah. So I just started my website this year. It's called Hot Lux Homes, Hot Lux, luxhomes.com. Same thing for my Instagram, and I have a Facebook too, but I think it's just under my name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to connect with anybody who needs help, whether you're buyers or you're an agent that just, needs guidance. I'd be happy to help.
That's wonderful. I have a feeling you might be hearing from some folks. And so, any last words of advice, tips, or tricks for individuals who are considering a career in real estate?
I would say if you have a true passion for it, put everything you've got into it and just do it. You can create the most, amazing life. Real estate does create a ton of opportunity. And so I would just say just go for it. Give it your all and don't be afraid. You will learn so much along the way and it's a great career. I really love it.
Yeah. I love it for you. You were meant for this industry. It has been great talking with you. Appreciate you so much. Congratulations on your success and the difference you've made in so many lives. And keep it going, my friend. It was so nice having you on. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Appreciate it.